Everybody, and welcome to Hard Claim. So a few years ago, when I got my copy of Blood on the Clocktower, I did an unboxing video. Now it's 2025, and I've gotten the Carousel in, so I thought I would do an unboxing video of that. There's not really much to it, but I want to also kind of go through it and try to get it in my Grimoire, because I know it's a question a lot of people's had. How do I get this in my Grimoire? So I'm going to play around with it once I've got it opened. See what I can do, and I'll show you what my setup is. I'll show kind of like before and after. So here's the carousel box. I've already got the shrink wrap off, so the shrink wrap had the kind of carousel stuff on it. I've already opened that and tossed it. I haven't opened this up yet, so it's not really a good way to do it without just kind of breaking into it. But so you can see everything's just kind of loose in here. So this comes with 3 of these boxes, which I hope when they do the expansions they do something like this, because having the art on these boxes is really cool. UPI logo there on the back. Then, like all your other token boxes, you can make an addition out of this. So if you look inside, you can see you got your good reminders, evil reminders, and you got your townsfolk, outsiders, minions, demons. Another one here. Again, all this art's really cool. I like the art on the original boxes, but I don't know, I think that's kind of cooler. Then one more of these boxes. I think it's my favorite one here. Cool. And I think they all look the same on the inside. Yeah, so it's kind of the same orange color. The other 3 of these work with, to my understanding, 2 of them will fit all of your carousel tokens. That's something to keep in mind. And the only thing else in here, so this is empty. I'll put that aside. Well, there's not really much to see here, but this is all shrink wrapped together. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these, like. So, and I know these are based off of the ones they did for Clocktower Con 2023, which I also have. So, your first page here, TC1, the Carousel one. So it's your, starting with your townsfolk, and of course a bunch of reminder tokens. Got your second page. So these are all, best I can tell, in pretty much alphabetical order. Second page. Now you're getting into your last of your townsfolk, and then getting into your outsiders. You're also starting to get into some of your minion reminder tokens. You also get some spare extra night tokens that you can use. Well, why not? I guess the space was there. The last of your outsider, then going into your rest of your, well, I think it's almost all of your minions. Most of them, anyway. There's a few extra. You can see trying to get like some Legion tokens there, reminder tokens. Then you get one more minion, and then you're getting to your demons. Most of their Legion. I know this comes with 12 Legion. Even a 15-player game, you shouldn't be doing 13 Legion. Farmer tokens, I know you get 4 of those as well. Yeah, so last of your demons, and then you're starting to get to one of the new fabled ferrymen. Well, newer anyway. Looks like you get some of your newer reminder tokens. So some of the new characters they released. We'll look at that in a second. The farmer is on back here too. I didn't realize that. That's interesting. But yeah, so they had all these empty spots for characters. So this is why we got Stormcatcher, Gangster, Gnome, Princess, Hermit, Cacklejack, Wraith, Deus Ex Fiasco. Yeah. You get some blank reminder tokens if you need them. I imagine you could find some good uses for them. I mean, and that's your entire carousel. If you're, looking to, if you're waiting for yours to come in, or just can't really get one until maybe next year when they do a reprinting in November. So I am going to show off what my setup is right now. Got see these in the background. Why not? So first off, I'm going to show off this binder that I have. So I mentioned I have the Clocktower Con character tokens, and of course I have name tags here. So I have these, they're like coin collector sheets, and they're good for storing the tokens. My problem is it's a bit tedious to pull them out and put them back in if you're wanting to swap them out. So if you're doing like a long-term storage and you're not going to be pulling these out very often, maybe this is fine. If you're pulling a lot of custom scripts in and out, maybe it's not so good. You just got my townsfolk there. There's these little flaps back here that you can open. Well, you get the point. But there's these flaps that open. You can pull the token out. The reminder tokens are in there. But yeah, if you want to do this, it's good. I am going to try to move away from these and maybe come up with another solution. Right now, I'm just going to use the token boxes we already got. But so you can see what I got, and I got a bunch of blank pages if I did want to use them. I got some extension cord scripts here. This version here is courtesy of Jack Broom for Final 3 Con. So I appreciate them having that available. And then I have some like old versions. This has old art, old ability text. Yeah, that is all I have in there. And then I have my Blow on the Clocktower box here. You can see I have this band around here to kind of keep it closed. Yeah, so I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and I'll show you what I have inside currently. So that way you can kind of see my before and after. All right, so I got my box open here. So right away you can see I have a little extra thing here. This here was courtesy of Vi. They gave me this gift from Final 3 Con. I was real excited for it. So yeah, this is a 3D printed case. It's got a magnetic lid. It has a magnetic thing here too, and yeah, all my extension cord tokens that I need, so I don't have to pull out any tokens for extension cord. Really neat. I was very excited about this. I used it almost right away. The texture is just a little different from the base game, but I mean, right. The players will have them for a moment. I'm moving around the Grim. I'm not going to care. So, yeah. Anyway, so you can see that's an addition that I have into my Grimoire right now. Normally, you'd have your token boxes kind of here, like so. And I think at the Carousel in here, you're going to have to put at least a few of these kind of like this, but you're obviously going to have to move some stuff around. I have already taken out the rule book and almanacs. I think some people, so there are some ways you can get your Carousel in there without taking the rule books and almanac, at least from what I've heard from others. It might require taking out some other stuff like your scripts, which I feel like I need my scripts. So I have my bag sitting in here. Let me just pull out all these token boxes. Got my Trouble Brewing, Bedouin Rising, Sex and Violets, and Travelers and Fabled, which I only keep those right now for my vote tokens and things like that. Travelers I have put into their recommended editions. With the Carousel, I might change that up. I'm not sure. So now that I'm in here, you can kind of look. I love this stopwatch. It really helps me storytell. If I want to give about 3 minutes for time, and I look at the time and I start the day, 2 minutes later I won't remember what the time is. So the stopwatch kind of helps me kind of get used to that. Obviously, I got my base 3 scripts. Another gift that I got, Nick and Angelo gave me some printouts of their custom script Squall of Cthulhu, which I was real excited for. I don't know when I'll get a chance to run this, or like in person, but yeah, got a nice sheet in the back there. Really cool. Um, looks real nice. I mean, you can see the good work for it. So that's in my Grimoire. This is going to come out. I mean, I love it, of course, but I don't need it in my Grimoire the whole time. It's taking up, especially with these carousel things. It's precious space that way. So actually, we'll go ahead and put that down there. And everything else here is pretty basic. My night order sheets. I do have I have a pointer here. I don't really use this, but I like having it just in case. Some people don't really want to be touched, which is totally fine. I don't really normally encounter that, but I do like having this just in case. You can kind of, pull this out and you can kind of tap people that way. So that's in my Grimoire. This is the stand here, and then this is the town square. So pretty normal stuff. I got a couple markers here. These are mostly for name tags. All right, so I'm going to play around with my boxes real quick, see what I come up with, and then I will be right back, and I'll show you what I got. All right, it took a bit of work, but I did kind of figure it out. So I had to pull out all of my extra accessories. Anything that didn't come with the game, I had to pull out. So this, my pointer, my pins, maybe I could fit them in somehow, but I don't think so, or not easily. So here's what I did. So you got your blank, your empty Grimoire. Take your town square, set it right in there. That's the flattest, biggest thing. Next, I'm going to put in. Normally, I don't put this next, but I want to put the night sheet in next because it is the next biggest thing, actually. And then you have two pieces of your stands. So I want to put those in at the bottom, and you kind of need them pushed to one side because you need all the space on the edge that you can get. Next, now here's what tripped me up. So normally I put my scripts in long ways, but you actually want to put them in sideways. It's hard to do it this way, but you need to put them in sideways like that. Because you're going to need the space to turn boxes sideways. If you turn them, the other way, you don't have as much space, and some of your boxes, you can't turn them all on the side because it sticks out too much, this way. So let me think. Okay, so actually something I missed. So I usually keep these, my info cards, in my token bag. I've instead put them just kind of underneath my scripts in this gap here. Just because next is that token bag. I have my death rounds. I have normally my info cards, all my night tokens, the pips you put on your night sheet. So you're going to have to kind of put it in this top space up here and you need to kind of spread them out flat as possible. If you have a different solution for your shrouds, this might be easier. But once you kind of have that in there, you're going to start putting your token boxes. You should be able to set, and I'm going to mess around with this a bit because of that token box, or the token bag. Find this out a bit. I can get these in here and then show you. But you can get your 4 original token boxes sideways, like so. They're not very flat right now. I need to mess around with that Grimoire bag. It's kind of hard to do. And then your Carousel token boxes can go in here, like so. So it still isn't perfect. I'm not going to store this way. I want my other stuff in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a different way if you only care about 2 of the Carousel boxes, because you can fit all of your Carousel tokens into 2 boxes. Now, I've kind of figured out 2 different ways to get everything in if you only care about 2 Carousel boxes getting in there. I do have to remove my own personal accessories, but y'all won't really care about those. So in this version, I've put the scripts vertically as how I would normally store it. So you have some options. So let me pull up This is my Travelers and Fabled box being the one that you can't see the logo on. So we're going to put one here. And we can do, I don't remember if I'm doing this right. So in this version, I need this bag is kind of a pain. You can kind of get the bag sort of underneath there. You can just kind of fit all these other ones. I don't know if you can see this well enough, but yeah. So this is one way to get 2 of the Carousel boxes in here, and this even looks way nicer. You know, we're not trying to stuff as much junk in. So in this other version with 2 Carousel boxes, we can put 2. And again, we have our scripts this way, and we've got everything pushed over to one side as much as we can to make as much space over here. We put 2 boxes there. And put 1 box kind of here. And these other boxes can just go like so. And then, this might be hard to show at the same time, but there's a little bit of a gap here. You can kind of get your, kind of spread your bag out. You can kind of stuff your bag in there. Then now you have 2 Carousel boxes, you know, with your other boxes that you need. Now again, all these versions, at least the way I'm doing it, don't have my rulebook or almanacs. I've heard of somebody being able to fit all that in there all at once. I don't know how they did it. Like I said, I already don't keep my rulebook and almanacs in my Grimoire, so but yeah, well, there you go. That's my copy of the Carousel. That's a few different ways to pack it. I don't know how I'm going to do it right now. Like I said, I do want to buy some kind of organizer box, I think, to keep all my tokens in. And then, you know, at any point, if I know ahead of time that I'm going to be running a custom script, which I don't really do in person, but you know, I can, you know, if I know ahead of time, I can just pull out one of these boxes, you know, put them in, and I have a, you know, custom script ready to go. If I'm going to convention and maybe we'll be running things on a whim, you know, at that point I can just have my box and have some scripts with me and say, oh, we're going to play this, and I'll, you know, take that time to pull out the characters. I can do that in my coin, you know, page thing too, but you know, it's an option, but, you know, like I said, it's a little slow and tedious. But anyway, that is the Carousel. I'm really excited to have it. Don't know when I'll get to use it, but you know, it's there. Yeah, I'm glad that we finally get a physical version of all the experimental characters, and yeah, hopefully sometime in the future we'll get the expansions. All right, but thank you all for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Yeah, see you next time.